It doesn't matter if you've overshared on social media, your personal life, pretty much any and everywhere you've overshared, and whoever you've overshared with, these will help you navigate that moving forward. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hey girl, my name is Lucy. I always say to stay subscribed. We have a good time on this channel. As you have seen by today's title, we're going to talk about what you can do when you think you have overshared in any situation. Now, we have a lot of things to unpack and talk about in this video, so let's just jump right into it, okay? Now, the only reason why this video is even brought to you guys, the reason why I'm talking about this is because you guys have been asking for over a year now. And if you're new on my channel, you don't know what I'm talking about, I have this series on my channel called The Power of Silence. I've been making several topics under this series for over a year now. I have topics like things you shouldn't share, things you should keep private in your life. I also have videos under this series talking about how to be private, how to live a mysterious life, psychological reasons why you should keep things private. I'm going to have all the videos linked in the description box below so you can go ahead and watch. I highly recommend it. Is the best series on my channel. It is one of the most powerful videos in my opinion. Silence is one of the major things that have helped me in terms of self-growth and self-development in my 20s, in my life in general. It is in the description box below. Go ahead and watch away. But this question is the major question I get in every single video I create under the series. A lot of people ask me, what can I do when I've overshared? Okay, you're telling me not to share all of this. I see your reasons. I understand why you're saying all of this, Lucy, but like, I have overshared. I have done it already. Like, the deed has already been done. I have made the mistake. What can I do now? I can understand and I can definitely relate as well, because as human beings, yeah, we make mistakes, we fall short. There are things that we kind of pick up a little too late. There are mistakes that we make. In fact, mistakes are normal. They are important for our growth as human beings. As long as we're learning from them, we're growing from them, we understand where we've fallen short and we want to right our wrongs, we want to do better with our lives, it is completely okay. A lot of people usually beat themselves up in the comment section of those videos talking about how they feel terrible or embarrassed for doing this. Girl, do not feel terrible. Don't feel embarrassed. Me telling you these things, I have made these mistakes in the past. It's the reason why I'm able to sit here and even talk to you guys about it. Now, before we jump into the things that I would recommend that you do when you think you've overshared in any situation, let's talk about the reason why you even overshare in the first place. Now, there are 1,000,001 reasons why people literally feel like they need to share some certain details or why they tend to share. It could come from anywhere. It could come from a place of anger. It could come from a place of sadness. It could come from a place of just wanting to share, wanting to spill. It could come from a place of not being able to control yourself. There are a lot of reasons why people overshare. But in my opinion, based on my experience and based on other people's experience that I've had to, examine and investigate from like an outsider looking into their situation, there are 3 major reasons why people overshare in most situations, if not every situation. Now, the first reason why most people share is because of insecurity, and it also comes from a deep place of lack within oneself. While a lot of people might feel like, oh, this is out of nowhere, like, how am I insecure? How does me feeling empty have anything to do with oversharing? Let me break it down to you, especially from experience. There are people that share certain details of their life, TMI details of their life or intimate details of their life, just because they are trying to get ahead of the situation. So people don't find out before they actually tell them, if that makes sense. You know how someone might feel like, I'm just going to tell you my flaws. Either way, you're going to find out, but you know what? I'm going to hold it by the neck because I'm telling you first so you can't shame the shameless. Do you get what I mean? So people tend to just spill things about themselves, create awkward situations between themselves and other people when they start to share certain things because they feel like they are owning themselves, they are owning their shit, they are owning their mistakes, they are owning their flaws. Well, in reality, it's just awkward because people might not necessarily even be interested to peek into those insecurities that you are so insecure about, if that makes sense. So people just tend to be like, okay, you know what? Before anybody can spot that my head is big, let me just say my head is big. Before anybody can stay long enough to notice that I have a bad character, I'm just going to tell them that I have a bad character ahead of time. It could also be from a place of not even feeling enough. That's the lack part of things. So you don't feel enough, so you just want to share everything that is happening in your life to somebody because it gives you that sense of fulfillment. It gives you that sense of satisfaction that something is really happening in your life. So you talking about your life, the things you're doing, how you're doing it, the people you're hanging out with, what's happening in your relationship, your finances, your job, all all that kind of stuff, is you kind of creating a false reality. Definitely these things are happening in your life, but you talking about it to people, to strangers, makes it even sweeter, makes it more eventful. So it gives you that sense of like, okay, a lot is going on in my life, when truly things are not necessarily going on in your life. Most of the time it is insecurity and lack that projects in different ways in your life. If you're talking about yourself and spilling all your secrets and your intimate details to anyone and everyone that cares to listen, gives you a sense of peace, relaxation and satisfaction, then we need to tackle that insecurity there that makes you feel like that's the only way you could derive that pleasure. Now, the second major reason that I think that is most relatable and is 100% the case for a lot of people is ego, low self-esteem and confidence issues. Those three things combined are the reason why people tend to overshare. You might not know that you have low self-esteem, confidence or ego issues, but you feel like you want to be heard, you want to be seen, you want to be part of the group, you want to be part of the party, you don't want to seem boring, you want to also have a story on the table, you also want people to know what you're doing, how you're doing, you want to feel appreciated, you want to get validation from people, you want to be part of the happening group, you want to be liked so bad. That comes from a place of low self-esteem, confidence issues and ego. You draw energy from people. People's energy rub off on you easily. You're very emotionally sensitive. That's when you tend to share, because you're conscious about certain things, how people view you, what they say about you, how they say it. These are internal reasons, by the way. There are reasons that are not glaring. There are reasons that are not necessarily straightforward. You might not even know these are the things that is worrying you when you start to overshare. If you think back to all the times that you have overshared and you acknowledge that you overshare, this will all make sense to you. Now, the third major reason is people pleasing / no personal boundaries. We've spoken about people pleasing on this channel. I'm going to have that video linked as well so you guys can watch it. You don't know how to navigate conversations with people. You don't know how to carry conversations with people. You just feel like you're obligated to share details about yourself to be liked. You don't know how to say no. You don't have personal boundaries. You don't set personal boundaries because you feel like certain personal boundaries will make you lonely, will make people not want to know you or be friends with you or speak to you or engage with you of any sort. Once you have that people pleasing attitude or that people pleasing mindset, it creates a lot of other negative habits in your life, like oversharing. In that line, the people that you're trying to please, the people that you don't want them to be offended, the people that you want them to see you a certain way, you have to please them. If it's oversharing, if it's giving them intimate details about your life that is going to keep the spark between you guys going, you will do it. Anything you have to do to sustain that friendship or that relationship, you will do it. You don't want them to get offended. You don't know how to say no to them. You don't know how to set personal boundaries and space between you and the people in your life. You need to learn communication, human interaction. Now again, the three major reasons why people overshare, people tend to overshare in situations is because 1, insecurity and from a place of lack, 2, ego, low self-esteem and confidence, people pleasing and no personal boundaries. If you never spotted these things in your life before, this is the right time for you to sit down and do the work. Now I'm going to quickly tell you what you can do after you think you've overshared in any situation in your life. First thing that I always and I would continue to advise is to stop. The good thing is that you've realized that you overshared. You've clocked it. You are aware that this has happened. There is one thing to know what you have done, and there is one thing to just blindly continue in that path. Where it is good is that you know that this is a thing that you've done. This is a fuck up that you have somehow created for yourself. This is something that you have engaged in, you knew you shouldn't be engaging in. I know at that moment where you have overshared and you realize you've overshared, you begin to panic, because trust me, I've been there. When I overshare, I'm like, oh my god, how can I take it back? But the truth and the reality of it is that you can't take it back. Once you spilled, you have spilled, and that's the reason why I always talk about being conscious. Once it has come out of your mouth, there's really nothing you can do to change it because you've already done it. What you just need to do at that time is stop. And I'm not saying that you wouldn't feel that emotion of regret. You will instantly, and you will continue to feel it for as long as you remembered what you've done. I need you to also have grace on yourself as a human being, because we fall short. Sometimes our emotions run wild. You cease fire. Yes, feel the emotions, feel the regret, feel all of it. It's good. Now the second thing that I want you to do, which is actually the major first thing that you would do to remedy that situation, is to understand your why. This is why I started a video talking about 3 major reasons why people overshare. I started with that because I wanted you to have at least 3 major areas you could draw your why from. It might be all 3 together, it might be just 1 point from the 3 that I mentioned. And again, there are 1,000,001 reasons why you might overshare, and your why might not necessarily fall into the categories that I listed earlier, but you need to identify your why. And the easiest way to identify your why in this situation situation is to understand the emotion, like the feeling you felt before you started oversharing. What prompts you to? What nudges you to? What urges you to? Like, what feeling do you get before you start to talk? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel like, oh my god, I'm under pressure right now, okay, I need to share? Which can come from the people pleasing and no personal boundaries point that I made earlier. Because if you feel that overwhelming, feel like, oh my god, like if I don't share, it might be a problem. They might not speak to me anymore. They might not like me. I might not get invited to stuff. They might just, you know, push me aside. They might see me as boring. They might see me as weird. What makes you share? Do you feel like, oh, as they're giving their experience, they're talking about things, you just want to be part of the conversation? You want to feel cool. Dig deep into your why. That would help you not overshare moving forward. To deal with any situation in your life or to right any wrong in your life, you need to deal with it from the root cause. The root cause will help you not make the same mistake again. So ask yourself your why. What did you feel? How did you feel it? What was the reason why you did it? Did you just feel like you lacked self-control? Because there are people that genuinely, which is another reason why people share, they just lack self-control. They just want their voice to be the loudest in the room, right? Which could also be ego, self-esteem, or insecurity. These three main reasons are very huge and very broad, and majority of the reasons why we share usually can be drawn from these three main reasons or these three main points that I listed earlier. Now, after you've understood your why, after you've worked on your root cause and the reason why you overshare in different situations, you need to set personal boundaries. You need to understand the meaning of personal boundaries and set strong personal boundaries in your life. Now, I'm going to link my video on personal boundaries and people pleasing, like I said earlier, in the description box below, because it's essential for every human being. Setting strong personal boundaries in your life, understanding your values, your beliefs, what you truly want for yourself, setting that so people in return respect that. It doesn't matter who the person is in your life, your family, your loved ones, your boyfriend, your husband, your fiance, your best friend, your close friends. Everybody needs to understand what you like, what you don't like, how you like it, and they need to respect it. Now, the final thing that I'm going to advise moving forward from this point is learning to communicate with people, learning to carry conversations with people, learning to say no, learning to be quiet in situations. Your voice doesn't necessarily have to be heard. You don't have to contribute to a conversation. I feel like this particular point only works when you've done the work on yourself, when you are confident in who you are, when you are okay, when you are enough for yourself and with yourself, having self-worth and dignity. People don't have to know what's going on in your life to understand that you are a fun person. Care about the made-up theories or assumptions they have of you and your life in your head. You're living your truth. You're peaceful with your truth. You're peaceful with your life. When you've reached that point of satisfaction in your mind, a lot of things will come easy to you, especially not speaking about your life, especially not wanting validation, especially not wanting to be heard or to be seen. You need to also learn to carry conversations, answer questions when people ask, because people are nosy. They will ask. Now, that's pretty much everything that I have for you guys in this video. If you have any more questions in regards to what you can do moving forward, I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for those questions in the comment section below. If you like the video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, follow me on my social media platforms, which are linked in the description box below, Instagram and TikTok as always. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.
Those of you that are listening in your car, at your job, you at home, I don't care where you at, turn this up right now, because we're about to